Hey, everybody, welcome to Afternoon Market Action, where we talk about what's going on in the market and we look at the action. My name is Glenn.
My name is Patrick.
Did you hear the hand claps, Patrick?
I did.
Awesome. So Joey made sure. I got some new sounds on my soundboard that I'm going to play today. So I wanted to make sure that you could hear them all. If you can hear us, by all means, please respond in the chat, preferably with VV Nation, and let us know that we are coming across loud and clear and that you're able to hear what's going on. Well, if it's loud and clear, then it means you can hear. I just need to make sure that you can hear us. Dan is here from Sweden. Are you really, Dan? Man, I love that we've got people from all over the world in here. VP says VV Nation. Gold Cross says greetings. Harry is here saying VV Nation. There you go. Roger from steamy Arizona. It's hot. It's hot everywhere. Everywhere is hot except for my house.
I felt like it was cooling down here. This week it definitely got picked back up again.
I keep my house at about 68 degrees. You gotta stay cold so I can sleep at night, because without that. But then I turn it up before I leave to go to work. I put it on about 72 so I can walk into a house that's cooler than outside. There you go. Monsoon season, says Roger. I don't want no monsoons. Did the last weekend storm wake you up, Patrick? It was a bad storm.
Yeah, that was craziness. That was
a crazy storm. All right, double echo from Pat. That's because my speakers are too loud. Say something again, Patrick.
Hello.
Okay, I can still hear you. That's what it was. My speaker was up, so now the echo shouldn't be there. All right, so with that, we're going to get rocking and rolling. I don't see my Facebook chat. When Joey gets it ready for me, I'll be able to see it, but I can definitely see all the YouTube chat. Hey, if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted to when new videos and live streams like this come out, because you don't want to miss that, huh? Okay, so you don't want to miss that kind of stuff. And real quick, everybody, take a moment right now to share this link with your social circles. Let's get a lot more people up in the room. With all of the content and information that Patrick and I bring, man, we need to get more people to listen, to get in, to at least listen to what we have to offer. We can be helping to change people's lives. ENVX is about to explode to 100. We got it, Police SWAT. We picked it up this morning in the Jockey Club. We got that stock. I did a video, a short video about getting ready for the Jockey Club this morning. A lot of you saw it, which was awesome. But yeah, we got into ENVX this morning. I can see the chat on Facebook now. Glad to see Raymond is here. Manju and Orange is all here on the Facebook side. So glad to see you all here. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. Let's talk about what's going on in the market. And we'll start with our web page. There we go. Here's news. Investors see no Fed pivot, brace for a hawkish power message in Jackson Hole. Everybody knows that for the week, everybody's in Jackson Hole. The Fed's going to come out on Friday and talk, and I think that people are wondering what the Fed's going to do, knowing that, I got to sneeze. It'll come. Knowing that inflation is getting better, but is it, excuse me, I knew I had to sneeze. But is it really? We're still at 40-year highs on inflation. Inflation is turning over a little bit. But the Fed, investors say that they see no Fed pivot. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Fed is going to stay the course, type of 1? Do you think that he's going to get a little bit more dovish, type of 2? I'll give my opinion and let Patrick then give his opinion. I think that he's going to stay the course. I think that inflation, even though it may look like it's turning over, they're not really putting a dent into it. This is one of the only means that he has at his disposal to go after inflation. There's other ways he can take some stuff off the books, blah, blah, blah. But his big tool that he has is the interest rate. So it looks like the majority of the people in here are saying that he's going to stay the course. Dan says the depression will come. Man, you talk about the Debbie Downer. Good gravy, Dan. I'm not calling this a depression. I do think that we'll go into a deep recession. Gold Cross says abolish the Fed. That's another whole story for another whole time. On Facebook, Raymond said, no, Alex, Nick, and Raymond all say that they agree with that the Fed's going to stay the course. Paul says, one, but government won't stop spending money. So with that, I'm going to turn that over to Pat. What do you think?
I think we've already talked about it. They don't have any other options. Because they know that they're going to be in a lot worse situation, and they need something to be able to fix it. So I think after this, especially over the last few years, we really need to go back. Reevaluate what the Fed does, and what type of tools the Fed has. You guys have me on a double echo.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. Massive echo. All right. Joey's working on that. Sorry about that, y'all.
Do you have your volume? Turned on for the stream? We'll turn that off. Because that'll loop it.
All right. Joey's still working on it. I hope that the echo goes away. I hope so.
Let's see. Still echoing? Joey, fix it?
I don't know yet. No. He said no.
No.
Boston is here.
Yeah, sounds like.
You're good. All right. It says that it's good. Better. All right. So Joey, Boston says all good. All right.
Whew. All right. Well, so basically, the Fed needs to raise rates so that way they can have some tools available to them for the actual recession that's coming. But, after all this is said and done, once they, put us into a recession and then use their same tools to take us out, we really need to reevaluate what they do and the tools they have available to them. If the only way to stop inflation is to cause a recession in the economy, you got to reevaluate that. That's not a good way of handling the situation every, 8 years or so. That's one of the things that just, it doesn't make sense that, the only tool you have to fix inflation is to crash the economy. Like they got to figure out better ways of being able to handle these kind of situations.
Okay, I got you. All right, let's get to my next story. Can I take the mouse? As layoffs loom, unemployment benefits look a lot different from last year. Here's what you need to know before you file. Interesting. So last year, we were still having the issues where we were giving people additional money on unemployment to help stave off what was going on with the pandemic. We're not doing that anymore. If you follow me on Twitter, I've been tweeting out the companies that are looking at layoffs. As we look at being in a recession, still one of the missing puzzle pieces is that jobs or the job market is still, unemployment is still low. Normally in a full-blown recession, there's a lot of jobs that are out there because a lot of people are laid off. We're not there yet. But more and more people, because of the raising of the interest rates, it's going to affect the bottom line. And the first place that they look to cut the fat is that they start with cutting people. All right. So just keep your eyes on that. I think that's going to play a major role in how deep of a recession we will or will not be in. Patrick?
I think we're only seeing the beginning of the layoffs coming in and the layoffs of unemployment. Or the layoffs and people getting fired. So I think we're still seeing good numbers right now, but I don't think it's going to be the same, let's say 6 months down the road.
Okay. Dan says, what's worse than high inflation and low unemployment is high inflation with a recession and millions of people out of work. We ain't at that point, Dan. Just as Patrick said, we're not there yet. But these are things to at least keep your eyes on. I still think, if I'm adding my own 2 cents, I think artificially we get into an economy or a market that's rising into midterms. And then after midterms, all hell is going to break loose. because then there's nobody breathing on the Fed's neck talking about, hey, hold off a little bit while this is going on. Afterwards, I still think that before all of this is said and done, we do get a 1 basis point to aggressively go after inflation, and that's gonna make the economy, that's gonna make the market go kaboom.
Let's do more than that. That's rookie numbers.
Huh?
Let's do like 2 or 3 basis points.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
Let's have some fun with it at least.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. Then we'll go to a depression. I think if that happens, I think the most aggressive he'll ever go, I think, will be 1 basis point. That's
well. So the interesting thing about that is they talk about they're cutting their balance sheets and all that, but the latest numbers actually showed. I wish I had it available with me right now, but the latest numbers actually showed they decreased a few areas of their balance sheet, but they actually increased their mortgage-backed securities. So they're not really shutting things off their balance sheet like they said they are.
They're just moving it around.
Yeah, and actually adding to their balance sheet, even though they said they're going to start lowering it. So
and all of that does is help to push inflation higher. Very interesting. Jim says dovish right before and hawkish after. No, I think hawkish and even more hawkish. Hawkish still right before and hawkisher. David, are you here? I need to put that into the book. Hawkisher.
There's a new Glennism.
I think they get hawkisher after the midterm elections. All right, so that's what I think. That's what I think. This looks like a fun talk show I just stumbled on. Should I stay? Thank you, Mark. Thanks for being here for our talk show. All right, next story. Talking about what's going on. Dollar gains with Fed expected to remain hawkish. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but with a strong dollar, that's not good for the economy because a strong dollar makes it harder for people to buy our goods at a higher price. But it's interesting that even with the higher dollar making our goods more expensive, people are still buying our stuff. Why? Because inflation is global, not just us. It's global, so people are paying exorbitant prices on stuff across the globe. So this is going to be very interesting, but as the dollar gains, the economy should all start to back down as well. Patrick?
I mean, yeah, it definitely slows down exports that we would sell because countries can try to find them cheaper with other currencies. But at the same time, it also makes it, if a higher dollar helps lower inflation because your dollar goes further. And I mean, the US doesn't really export a whole lot anyways, except for some oil and gas every now and then. But we don't really, our manufacturing industry or sector of the market or the economy is gone where, we rely on everybody to send us stuff. So I think a stronger dollar helps us. Yeah, it doesn't help other people when they try to import, but they don't really, import from us anyway. So I don't think that's really that big of a factor going forward with it.
I still think that it is a factor, only because, I think even though you think that we don't export a lot of things, we do export a lot of things. The main things, like you said, are oil, blah, 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 blah. We do export a lot. We could export a lot more. We could export a lot more, but we do export a lot. So,
but look at our balance sheets. Look at our imports to exports. We definitely import way more than we export. And look at the COVID lockdowns and all that. Look at how it disrupted the supply chains. Nothing is made here. Everything's made in China or other countries across the globe and then imported into the United States. So, yeah, our manufacturing area of the U.S. economy is basically non-existent compared to what it was even 5 years ago and even 10 years ago.
I'm going to do a video on that because I don't know if I'm fully on board with that. But I understand what you're saying, but I think that we're underplaying how much we do export. I think. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to look into that as a video. I am. All right. So that was one of my stories after what was going on in the market. This is one of Pat's stories. Brent oil holds above 100 a barrel on potential OPEC cuts. Talk about it.
Yeah. So, you and I have been talking week in and week out that oil from a longer term perspective looks still like a great play. All it takes is one wrong move over in Europe, and next thing you know, oil prices are well above where they just last were. And now you have OPEC who are already behind their what they should be producing. They're already lower than that by 2.9 million barrels. It says actually, I don't have control. So if you scroll down just a little bit here.
You should have control.
All right, now I do. Let me scroll down a little bit. Why is it not scrolling?
You got to click on it.
I am. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Well, evidently you weren't. I don't know.
Yeah, OPEC Plus is already producing 2.9 million barrels per day less than its target. So if they're going to cut at this stage, we're already seeing, that they can't even get to their target and they're going to still consider it a cut. So what would that look like? A lot of this has to do with the Iran deal, trying to get the Iran nuclear deal back into accord or back into working order,
which is going to be horrible.
Yeah, I mean, but if they do that, if Iranian oil gets back into the US or back into the markets, then that's why they're talking about doing the cut. So, it's a give and take, but I still see this continuing to push prices up for oil in the foreseeable future.
I don't disagree with that at all. I still think oil is still a good play. It got a beat down because of demand. People said, screw you. I'm not paying this oil, these prices for gas. A lot of people pulled back on their own, and I think that decreased demand. The supply has never really changed. And you know something, saying that we're going to put out X amount of oil from our reserves, which is also kind of jacked up. We weren't putting out enough for the American people to really feel. All right, number one. And
we're shipping it out to other countries.
And number two, our reserves are low. God forbid something really bad happens, recently. We are going to be screwed as far as trying to depend on our own oil reserves, and that's going to suck bad.
A lot of our oil reserves got sent to China recently.
Well, man, I hate to put the politics in here, but sometimes you can't afford that. Roger says, so why is SJT losing me money? I'm still up nicely on SJT. Even when the pullback on oil was happening, SJT was holding its own. Just give it a little bit of time. Or if it's hitting your stops, get out of it and wait for another buying opportunity. I made for another buying opportunity. So, Roger, in regards to that. By the way, Energy is here. I need everybody in VV Nation to wish Energy a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Energy. All right. Can you still hear that anymore? You took it away from it. I took it off because I wasn't sure if that was okay. So, yeah, everybody wish Energy a little happy birthday. All right. So, putting that out there. Let's go see on Facebook. Are there any VectorVest daily updates, Canadian version? Answer to that, Sean, is no. Except for a written version. We only do a daily color guard for the U.S. side. But there is a written version of the views for Canada every day. You should be able to see that. All right, next story. On Netflix. Netflix dips as analyst cuts to sell on expected underperformance. How many of you still have a Netflix account? I'm one of them. How many of you, type of one in the room, how many of you still have Netflix accounts? Because Netflix is still losing people left and right, up and down. Patrick, you got Netflix?
I have access to a Netflix.
I'm not asking any other questions.
that's good because
I'm not asking no questions. You got Netflix?
That's all I'm going to say about it.
All right, Joey's got his Netflix too. I got my Netflix. So Netflix still is losing people. You know the reason why all of us. Paul says he has access as well. Paul, I'm not asking no questions. You have access as well. I'm not asking no questions. There you go. Frank says SJT hit his stop today. He walked away with a 10% gain. I'm still in it. I haven't gotten out of it. I left wider stops on my SJT. I'm still in it. But you know why the people who stick with any streaming companies because of the content. Netflix still has good content that's out there, even though they're losing people because of this. With inflation, a lot of people are cutting where they don't need. Streaming services are one of the things that they feel that they really don't need, so they'll cut it. I'm still there, but actually last night my wife and I watched something on Netflix. We watched the Jamie Foxx movie. What was it? Day Shift. Where he's hunting vampires. It was all right. It wasn't like, woo, everybody got to go watch it. It was all right. And then the other thing, my wife made me go watch another Brad Pitt movie. So I had to watch A River Runs Through It.
I've never even heard of that one.
I never heard of it either. My wife was like, oh, no, that's a great movie. Well, thank you, wife of mine. Let's go look at it. It was a decent movie. It's a wholesome movie. It's a wholesome movie, like a Little House on the Prairie type movie. That's what it was. So I put that out there. All right. So what do you think about this? This is going to be one of my stock picks, but it's going to be to the downside. What do you think, Patrick?
I mean, until Netflix does something that really innovates the brand and the business, I mean, I don't see it really holding the dominance that it has. There's other services out there, but I agree. Yeah. Once people actually stop spending excess money that they don't really have and just racking up debt, they're going to start cutting things. And yeah, Netflix is definitely, or streaming services are definitely going to be one of them.
Got you. Mark puts up something great. And I think we all fall into this. If you fall into this same category, type of one in the room. I have Netflix, Prime, Disney, Apple, YouTube TV, and cinema, and still can't find anything to watch. How many of you are in that same boat? Because I am as well. I got everything that's there, plus Hulu. What else did I not see up there? I got ESPN. I got now the NFL Plus. I got all of that stuff. And it's funny how my wife and I go find. I didn't get Sling, and went to go look at trying to find something on TV. I got HBO Max, and I got, what's the other thing? Stars. I got that. Man, my wife is like, and I have cable. She's like, you're paying for all of that? I said, yep. She says, fine, it's your money. You pay for it. So I think altogether, I'm probably paying like $300 worth to watch TV.
And that's basically the unlimited best internet and cable you can get anyways. So
I'm crazy.
It's not any cheaper anymore. It came out as the way of making things cheaper and getting what you want, and not having to pay for stuff that you don't want, but it's now turning exactly into cable again.
I got you. It's not. NFL Plus was like $9 and some nonsense a month. It's not $30 a year. Oh. Drew says, I have a lake, boat, and beer, and I don't watch any of them. Drew, where you live?
We're on the way.
We're on the way, for real. Where you live? I need to be on the lake. We on the lake. All three of us are in Lake Norman, but none of us got an effing boat. Did I say effing? Oh my gosh, I can't say that. None of us got a boat. We need to have a boat. We need to find friends with a boat, folks. We do. I'm not signing up for that club where I'm paying like $3 billion to own a boat and only drive it. Yeah, but I only get, I don't want it. I ain't wearing it. The original sales pitch for cable was no commercials. Yeah, I know. All right. Let's get to my next story. This is still Patrick's story.
This is not mine.
It's not? Oil prices have been falling. Why is it time to buy oil? Is this my story? Fine.
Yep.
I'm with Patrick that I believe we should be buying oil. We talked enough about it. All right. So, Berkshire Hathaways, did I do this story last week?
Yeah.
Or did that come out since last week? I think it came out since last week. Who has a boat? David, you have a boat, but you're too far up north. You're in cold land. You're like way up in like Minnesota. That's
so
cold.
What he can do. So look at the opportunity here, Glenn. Meet them halfway. Bring the boat here. We can have it during the wintertime because our lake doesn't freeze. So we'll keep it in a warm temperature form, and we can use it during the wintertime.
I like that, Dave. What do you think? Yeah. Yeah, I like that, Dave. You need to, Invite me down in the winter. There we go. Fine. How you going to get your boat down here in the winter? Do I have to pay to tow it? I mean, if I have to, I will. I might have to pay to tow it. But then I got to put you up, too. I'll put you up at Patrick's house. Patrick's got a bigger house than I got. Put you in
I
Joey's
also
house.
have 2 kids running around, too.
Huh?
I also have 2 kids that wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning ready to go.
That'll be fine. David will like that. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. We need to invite you down. But I think that this is a good push for Occidental Petroleum. You know something? If it says that he can buy, and I've been thinking this question myself, does that make him like a partner in it as opposed to just a stock owner?
So you have to own 51%, I think, just over that 50% mark to be considered
the owner.
The owner, I think.
Okay. But as much as 50%, he's right there, right behind the owner. Interesting. All right. But I still think that that's a good push. I'm already bullish on oil stocks anyway, that this is just another stock to be on. Watch what happens to the price after gas of gas after the election. It's going to go up. It's going to go up after the election because the midterms will be over. But the biggest reason, the real reason, I think the more real reason is that we're going to get into the cold season and that people are going to need oil to heat their homes. That's what I really, really do think so. John says,
it'll continue the trend it's been on since November of 2020.
Oh, to go up in the wintertime?
No, just continue to go up. It's been doing that ever since.
Well, I don't think that this is going to be any different.
Yeah.
John says, Glenn, do some ice fishing in the winter in Minnesota. David invited me to go up there and do that. He showed me a picture of his shanty. The shanty looks kind of cool. I wouldn't mind doing that. But then after you get out of the shanty, you got to get back into the cold. And then what happens if the ice breaks? Then we just die in a shanty under the ice. That's a scary thing. Now, I'm just thinking, here's one of it. What happens if you're in the shanty and then all of a sudden you hear, and then the ice breaks and we fall into the water? That's one of my new sounds. David. You heard that? Let me do that again. That's what happens when you break through the ice.
I didn't hear that one.
I don't want to break through the ice. All right, so David's laughing because that's what it would sound like. That's what it would sound like. All right, 2 more stories. This is a story that a stock that we got into today in the Jockey Club. Enovix up after price target raise at Cohen. It's a rise in there. Got a partnership coming up with Tesla. The analyst sees the possibility of a near to immediate term announcement highlighting a licensing agreement or JV partner. As for who the ultimate auto OEM customer could be, a significant amount of investor attention has been placed on Tesla. All right, so, but again, this is scuttlebutt right now. It's not written in stone. We got to wait for the announcement. We'll see what happens, but it was up nicely today. We've got it in the Jockey Club in our trading room, so we'll see what happens up to that. Nick on Facebook says, Netflix may get more subscribers once recession hits as they cut spending on travel, dine out, and other expensive leisures. You think so, Nick? You think so? That's on Facebook. Could be. We'll see. I think that Netflix and all of those stuff, all of those companies took off during the pandemic because everybody was doing Netflix and chill. What does the chill mean, Joey? I just put you on. What does Netflix and chill mean?
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, there was a whole bunch of Netflix and chilling. Play the new laughing sound you said you have for us. Oh, here it is. Joey and I listen to it, and every time we hear it, we laugh. So we got that yesterday as well. I think this ENVX is something that we all need to keep our eyes on. And
wait,
one
so
more story.
Is this like extra but with actual production and a deal?
Ooh, really? You got that? Are you talking like
I'm just asking.
So you know what I think about your idea? This. It's a toilet flusher. That's one of my new sounds.
I can't hear any of that.
I know. I had it for you to hear it, but I think it had something to do with the echo.
Also, it wasn't an idea. It was a question.
No, it wasn't. Shut up. All right. Anyway, and the last one, Patrick, this is one of Patrick's stocks last week. I think that this is in that meme category, number one. But the stock went up. Cohen pulled out of it, and the stock got shafted, and he shafted a lot of people when that news came out. All right. Right now, because they were in need of capital, of money, they got a loan deal. Does this make me feel any more comfortable that, and when I look at meme stocks, what I'm looking for are stocks that have the ability to pivot and make better decisions to be better companies. I think GME is doing that. Patrick may not believe it, but I think AMC is doing that. I like Bed Bath & Beyond. It's one of my favorite stores to go to. The big money is putting down the pressure to short it, to get it out of business like they were with AMC and GME. Does this put them in a better position to do more for the company with this money that they got? I don't know. I still put this in the realm of being a meme stock. When you look at the fundamentals on it, and a lot of people say, well, you know, because it's a meme stock and it's the retail investor, we say that the fundamentals be damned. Well, it's more than that, because it's the fundamentals that move a company. The fundamentals tell you if a company is a good company or not. All right, the fundamentals tell you if the company's got good upside potential, if it's undervalued, if it's a safe stock. Those are the fundamentals. So I know that there's a war between the retail investor and the big money or the money managers. I understand that. But when the rubber hits the road, are these companies making money? And if they're not, then why are we crying over it? And why are we going back and forth and this, that? And they got to make money. I think that goes for any company. They got to make money. And if they ain't making money, why are we talking about investing in them? Let's start to invest in them once they can return back to the investor the gains that they've made. These companies ain't making gains. None of them. Now, granted, I'm in GME. All right. And a lot of times I look at myself, I smack myself, and then I look at Joey and I smack Joey because I want to smack Joey because I made a silly mistake. But I'm still in it. I'm in XROF, and I want to kick myself sometimes. But then I know long-term, I think that XROF is going to be good. I think that the things that GME is doing, I think long-term they're going to be good. I think that some of the things that AMC are doing, it's going to be good. The problem is when. That's the problem. When. So that's my take on Bed Bath & Beyond. I think it's still a gambling play. I still think that from a GME, AMC, all of these stocks, that there is a bit of gambling in them because we have to sit through the bad times until the good times come. 427 Trading says pump and dump. You know something, with what Cohen did, I think it made Bed Bath & Beyond a pump and dump. So, you know, I may not even put it on the same scale as GME or AMC. I think that was a pump and dump.
So I don't think that was a pump and dump.
Go ahead, Patrick. Go ahead. No, talk about it. I think
that was him getting smart about it and knowing that he, you know, when he got in, the stock was trading at around 15. And then it went down to about 5 and was, you know, 2/3 of the value of his trade was basically gone for a while. So I think when he saw it going up and he was at least break even, he cut his loss, or he cut the trade. I think from a trading standpoint, that's a smart move. I mean, if you have a bad trade and all of a sudden you get back to break even or turn positive in it, you'd be willing to take that and move on and find another opportunity there.
All right, so now let's take that. Then why are everybody like me still holding on to GME? Take what you just said about what Cohen did as a smart freaking trade. Why are you holding GME? Why am I holding GME? Think about that. So that makes us stupid for holding the trade. But long-term bull crap. The right thing to do was to get out of the trade, wait for a better opportunity to buy in, but we're not.
Well, so there is a lot of talk as well. I'm holding off all theory, all expectations, everything, all comments on it until the end of the month, until they release that announcement where they talk about their debt restructuring and what they're going to be doing and how they have a plan. They said they were going to make an announcement at the end of the month. We're getting close to that. I'm waiting until I see what exactly that is before I make any judgment one way or the other, or make a decision on what to do next with those two plays.
Okay, and I'm with you on that. I'm going off of your statement of you saying that was a smart play, where a lot of people are thinking that it was a pump and dump. I'm on board with the pump and dump part, but you're backing him and saying, well, I think it was a smart play. If that was the case, then why is so many holders of GME still holding it?
Well, because with GME, you have all the metaverse, you have their NFT platform, you have all the new blockchain gaming that they're starting to get small releases for. You have to remember, their NFT marketplace is still in beta. It's not even a full release yet. So that's why, because they actually have that play there, there's still people holding on to Bed Bath & Beyond waiting for the report to come out at the end of the month. And I mean, there's some speculation that Ryan Cohen is working with new board to possibly buy the Bye Bye Baby aspect of it.
Okay.
And get that added under his umbrella, because that's really why he was there. Is he wanted the Bye Bye Baby aspect of Bed Bath & Beyond. So there's a lot of people that want that portion of it because it's such a moneymaker. And with GME, you have an actual plan in place, a pivot in place. You have the right people on the board to make that start happening. With Bed Bath & Beyond, you've had a lot of back and forth. They wasted a whole lot of money under their under Triton, their last CEO, who spent it on luxury brands, trying to get those brands in their stores. That didn't really pan out. A lot of bad miscalculation of what they were doing, where they were going. A lot of bad allocation in capital. And so there's a lot of mistakes that have to be reversed. And maybe we'll see that, maybe we won't, but they don't have any real plan in place to go forward on how or what they want to do to fix that and get their business back on track.
All right.
So there's a big difference between Bed Bath & Beyond and the whole GameStop aspect of things.
I disagree, but I respect your opinion. I disagree because I think that from the purpose of a good trade to a not good trade, I think that from a good trade, we should have all been out of GME, and with everything that they got going on, gotten back in at the right time, which might not be now. But I'm feeling the pain. I'm out there. I'm one of the ones. I'm feeling the pain of getting my butt kicked, owning the stock, in anticipation of what can happen in the future. All right, so I'll take a chance. But the cool thing about it, the money that I've got in GME is money that I can lose, and because I can do that, it's no big deal.
But that's the thing is, to call it a meme or call them meme stocks, that means they don't really have a plan to get their company back up in business.
I think to call them a meme
stock, Bed Bath &
stock,
Beyond doesn't have that. GameStop actually has something, and they're actually, executing on it. So
I think a meme stock is a stock that everybody's talking about, and it's making news overall. And whether it's GME, whether it's AMC, when soon as those stories hit, people start to buzzing about all of them from a meme stock perspective. Now, don't get me wrong. As I said, do I think that GME are making strides to become a better company? Yes. Do I think that AMC is making strides to become a better company? Yes. I don't know about Bed Bath & Beyond, and hopefully that this money that they just got, they better do something with it if they expect to be looked at as a reputable company. I still think that overall, I see still a lot of people in the stores. I didn't know all of this stuff behind the scenes was going on. You won't be able to tell it in the stores. I like the store, and I got like 100 trillion billion $20 coupons in my card to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. So there you go. All right. So that's what goes on with that. Let's get into the software. Let's go look at our lists. Market news. Let's go see what's going on with the markets. All of the major indices are up today. It looks like the Dow is the only one that's flat to slightly up. The composite is up. All the other three are up. Let's go take a look at all of them, though. Keep our eyes on that. And I'm going to put them all on a 3-month graph to see what the markets all look like. There's the VectorVest composite. Nice run up. With my layout that I have, a 20-day exponential moving average, earnings per share. Man, the market is falling off of the high. That high right there was based off of an indicator called the MTI. It was telling us the market was already looking for high. For those of you who are VectorVest subscribers, we had you prepared right here prior to all of this going on. Currently, open candle today, but still below the 20-day exponential moving average. Looking at earnings per share is falling on the market. There's the Qs below the 20-day exponential moving average. A little selling pressure going on today. Looking at the S&P 5, all of them below the 20-day exponential moving average. While the market was running up and getting good, was above the 20-day, now below.
And it failed to hold above that move or that level of resistance.
There you go. And so Patrick and I both have a overall bearish feel on the market. Overall, here's an update on the Dow below the 20-day. All of our major indices are below the 20-day after showing the characteristics of being up, hitting that level of the high and the MTI above the value of 1.6. We had you guys in this. We had you guys in this at the right time, especially if you are a subscriber to the program. Speaking of gambling, I made a watch list for casinos last year. Yeah, casinos and airline stocks and all that stuff was supposed to come back. Sigh, it didn't happen. It so didn't happen. Side note, my birthday wish, everybody hit the like button. I like that energy. That's cool. Thank you for that. Yeah, for Energy's birthday, everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. All right. So those are all of the industries, what they look like today. Live market, all of them are still below the 20-day exponential moving average, even though the market is up. Fastest moving sectors, I'm going to bypass that today. Let's go talk about the customer picks. We got 8 stocks in, actually 9. Energy, I didn't take VMAR because we looked at it already once in this whole segment, so I didn't want to look at it again. But here was y'all's picks from last week. We had 10 stocks. Let's go see what they did over the week. 17th, let's go see what they did over the week. Quick test them all. How good were y'all? Y'all were horrible pickers of stocks last week. Good, googly muggly. They all went down, only except for one. BP, the oil stock was the only one that went up. But Veru, and we analyzed all of these stocks. You guys picked bad stocks last week. Horrible. I'm only messing, but they were the stocks that you did pick all went down for the most part.
Well, they weren't picking them. They wanted to see them analyzed.
Yeah, I'm judging them now. You picked bad. Yes,
that's on Glenn, guys.
That's judging. That is all Glenn. I'm judging. Y'all picked bad stocks. All right. Didn't Cohen reveal he had out of the money call right before dumping, Patrick?
No, that was common knowledge. He bought them back in like March.
Okay, so I wasn't sure, so that's why.
Yeah, he bought them back in like January, like February, March, somewhere around there. So, I mean, that wasn't like new news. It's been out there for a while.
All right. I wasn't going to jump on that without knowing. All right. Now let's talk about your customer picks. We got 8, and again, we had 9. We had VMAR, but I didn't want to put it back because we had already looked at it once. Energy. Patrick, you want to start or you want me to start?
I don't care.
You start them.
All right. So I had 4 stocks this week. Let me pull this over. I had CEIX for an energy play, coal energy more specifically. Home Depot, Costco, and MRCY, I think was MRCY. Yeah. So just breaking down the quick analysis, CEIX is currently overvalued. Home Depot, currently overvalued. Costco, currently overvalued. Mercury, currently overvalued. Looking at the analysis, all of them except for Mercury have good long-term potential. Well, Costco, long-term potential slightly below 1. You have Home Depot and Costco both as more of the safer stocks, more of the more fundamentally sound companies out of the list. All of them are in uptrends except for Mercury. And then CEIX comes in with the highest comfort index, which basically is the stock's ability to withstand severe lengthy price declines. So when it starts pulling back, higher CI stocks tend to bounce back and hit those new highs quickly. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the graph of these. I clicked on the wrong one. I'm used to always using the graph all. Change that out. And then put it on a 6-month. All right, so CEIX, it's been in a really strong uptrend. A lot of energy stocks do look to be taking some profits here over the last couple of days. This one, no exception. You had tall upper wick indicating a lot of selling pressure, stronger volume relative to what it had been trading at. Then you get follow through to the downside that next day, moving lower as of today. Doesn't really have a whole lot of support until we get down to this level right here. What is that? 59.93 roughly.
Yeah.
So I'd be waiting for a pullback. If you already are in this stock and already have some great gains, I'd definitely be tightening up my stops to make sure to lock some profit in. That way you can reinvest more once it goes down, starts heading higher again. Looking at the next one, Home Depot. So Home Depot, let's zoom out to a 1 year. It's had a great run off of those lows, but we're still well away from those highs that we saw back at the end of 2021. Had earnings. Earnings were decent, but they had poor forecasts going forward, saw a drop in the price. I mean, realistically, I need to see it get back above that support level before we ever consider jumping on board. Maybe slowing down right now, and especially as people cut back on spending, they're going to be looking for the cheapest options. A lot of people have already been, doing a lot of home projects. So you're already having people not really going and doing remodeling projects right now. And then on top of that, people are now more conscious about where their money is being allocated towards. Letting your home or letting a home project, lapse for a little bit is probably going to be more common than not going forward. So I'd be careful with Home Depot. They do pay a dividend. They pay, what is it? Let me think about it. The dividend they pay is $7.60 or 2.5% roughly a year. Not a bad dividend, but I don't think that 2.5% a year is going to offset the loss if the price of the stock continues to fall.
Hey, real quick, someone is asking what's your opinion on Lowe's. I think it would be in the same boat as Home Depot, right?
What's that?
I think it's still in the same boat as Home Depot, right?
Yeah, it's in the same situation. Moving on to the next one, Costco. Costco, another very similar situation. You're already seeing price steadily moving higher over the last few weeks. Looking at the DPO, it's moving lower. MACD's moving lower. So you're already starting to get a sense of a bearish divergence forming with this one. Plus, I'm just going to go ahead and use the freehand line. You do have, you have it on really thin lines. Let me go ahead, thicken those up. Wait for somebody to do that in the background.
Where you? Oh, I got you. What you want?
Just thicken them up.
All the way thick?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have the left shoulder here. You have the head here at the highs, all the way down, and now potentially forming that right shoulder. So with the overall market consensus of where we're currently at, we talked about last week, the bull and bear market cycles. It's not the exact head and shoulders, but you can have, an off-axis shoulder line here, neckline here, and that's exactly what we're getting. So right now, maybe not the best time to be entering. Seeing some weakness on the shorter term, having a longer term potential head and shoulders pattern. You're going to have to wait to see how that pans out, but at least something to keep an eye on as we move forward with that. And then last but not least, Mercury. So this one is listed as computer systems, but it really is more aerospace and defense because they build the computer systems for the aerospace and defense companies. Looking at the fundamentals, the stock had an RV below 1. RS was okay at 1.21, but it is in a steady decline, even on stronger news. I think out of the aerospace and defense stocks, there are definitely better options and ones to consider before looking at this one. It's overvalued by almost a factor of 2. Plus, the RV isn't that great. And if we look for the fundamental aspect of things, earnings have been steadily declining throughout 2022. Not a good look for your stock that you're wanting to hold. Doesn't pay a dividend. So while it has decent fundamentals currently, those fundamentals are definitely deteriorating. And I think there's better opportunities in the aerospace and defense industry. So those are my picks. Off to you, Glenn.
All right. Just real quick, Biden announces student loan handout as national debt soars. Biden will cancel up to 20,000. It was 10,000. 20,000 in student loan debt for certain Pell Grant recipients.
Man, I can't wait for higher taxes next year.
Holy smokes.
That's going to be so much fun, man.
The nation's federal student debt now tops $1.6 trillion. After ballooning for years, more than 43 million Americans have federal student debt, with almost a third owing less than $10,000 and more than half owing less than $20,000. Wow! I just put out a short on it.
Is it just me, or does it feel like currency and paper and money just doesn't matter anymore?
I think
have we gotten past that point that
it's
literally a joke at this stage?
I think we have, but there's nobody to hold us to it. There's nobody, because we're still the main form of currency. Nobody's holding us to it. Nobody's calling in and say, I want my money now. And China could.
But all countries around the world are doing it, though. It's not the United States. It's everywhere. All major countries around the world are just printing left, right, and center. I mean, it just feels like nobody cares about, or nobody even bats an eye anymore to actual fundamentals and what it's supposed to represent. It's paper money. We've literally turned all world reserve currencies or world currencies into monopoly money.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a little ridiculous.
All right. I don't want to go down that path because I might get canceled. So I don't want to do that. And I know that about me. I don't want to get canceled. All right. So listen. Oh, I like that. It works till it doesn't, because that's real right there. It works till it doesn't. And at some point in time, it ain't. And
but it feels like this is like the last hurrah for until it doesn't. Like they know we're close to it doesn't, so they're just like, screw it. Let's just keep on printing.
And you know something? I'm with you, Mark, that I think that we need, or we're going to have, a global reset. I don't know what that looks like. Mark, but I think it's something that's going to have to happen because everybody is printing money.
Yep.
Everybody is. And it's gonna take a hard, real global reset in order for this to get back to where wow, it's gonna be tough. All right, here's my 4 stocks out of the list. Will you stop? What's that, Joey? Stop.
Oh, it fell over.
Whatever. All right, so here's my 4 stocks. A couple of them are real speculative stocks. And my 2 really speculative stocks are Palantir and XRoth. ARLP, the best stock in here by VST, a coal play. Sorrento Therapeutics, we have a medical stock or a bio stock. I think a good little combination here. Let's go look at these on the graph. Graph selected. Now there's news. There is news on XRoth. I'll get to that when I get to there. Coal is still where we get the majority of our electricity from. Still running. Do run. Little down there, but the 3 and the 8s are still solid on it overall. Patrick's layout is horrible. Let's go find my layout. And let's go do it on the trade side, looking at the 3 and the 8. 3 and the 8, volume, RT, and support and resistance. I leave coal alone. I think coal is still a good place to be. I think oil is still a good place to be until it's not. I got a real level of support here sitting about 21, 23. We'll see what happens with that. And the stock's got some really good upside still. Let's go to Palantir. As much as I like what this company has to offer, this is a tough company to sit through. I've owned it a couple of times, but I don't own it right now. I think the world still doesn't realize what Palantir does. Palantir is getting contract after contract after contract for the services of going out, collecting data, and turning it into useful information, no matter what service or organization you are. All right? And they work a lot with our law enforcement to be able to track down terrorism and all that kind of stuff. But they're getting contracts from across the globe. The problem is they're not making any money. As much as I love XROF, as much as I love a lot of other stocks that are out there, and even talking about the meme stocks, they ain't making money. Now, interesting, Palantir is at a point where it is making money finally. Interesting. I didn't realize that until just now, where they finally really are making money, and they're growing at a clip of 46% a year. I did a story not too long ago is that they don't know when all of these contracts hit. They've got the orders. Well, when do they actually get paid the money? All that stuff. So Palantir, great company for upside, just wouldn't take it yet. Still not ready to take it yet. And finally, they are in the positive earnings play. Okay, that's fine. But look at the graph. Bottom left, top right, and then fall down, go boom. Earnings, there we go. Earnings right after earnings. Boom, fall down, go boom. And the 3.8 still bearish on it. They got to consistently make money. I think this might have been the first time that they made money, because every time I've looked at this stock, they haven't made money. Let's go to SRNE. I'm wondering if there's news on this pushing the stock's price higher. I'm going to click on that real quick.
Remember when SRNE was like at $10 a share?
Say again, on which one?
SRNE.
You said
when Jerry got into the trade years ago.
Oh gosh, and look at it, it's only $2.05. I have to go take a look at that long term. Up on positive result from lung cancer study. Normally when a drug company does go up, it tends to be on something like that. Wow, look, what Patrick said, it was up there in that $10 range. That stock has fallen down. Don't be doobie down. Whoa. Our little bounce right now off a level of support. This stock's got to get out of its own way, and it's got to have more than just that one news article come out on it. And then we get into XROF. XROF, Patrick and I were here when the big news came in that they diluted their shares. That's it. Because Steve Chappell says, well, they didn't really dilute the shares. That's all I got to say to Steve. They diluted the shares. They did, and they raised money. Now, let me tell you what's going on in our heads here at VectorVest, at least the talking 3 or 4 of us that trade the stock. They raised $10 million in a warrant offering. That ain't a lot of money. So we're thinking, and again, this is just the brain trust here, we're thinking that some announcement is coming out behind this, because they got like 6 NDAs out there. They got about 6 NDAs out there. They're going to have to release some information on one of these NDAs to say that they got an order with somebody big. Even though they hooked up with C Electric, which is great, they got to release that they're coming out with somebody else. Zero, they already came out with C Electric. They need to come out with a big name, because that $10 million that they raised ain't a lot of money.
Especially right now.
That's not a lot of money. So we're thinking that it's got to be more behind that, because, Patrick, they had access to a lot more money than that. Is that not correct?
Yeah, from our extra guru that sold it to all of us. Apparently, they still have $170 million that they can tap into in credit line. But, one of the things they could possibly doing is waiting for the price to go up more, maybe release some positive news, let the price go up a little bit, and then do another share offering. That way they can make more without having to dilute as much.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
So the price did go down today below this 3-month level of support and rebounded. That could be a positive sign. If you want to put a silver lining behind it, but the 3 and the 8 have been solidly to the downside. And guess what? Glenn has been holding it all through this. Absolutely. So it is what it is. How about farmland stocks in the future? Farmland stock. Listen, I already put the link out, the comment out there on YouTube. What stocks do you want me and Patrick to look at for next week? It's already out there. You guys can go put your stocks for next week in there now on YouTube. There's a post out there. All right. So I'm trying to do these as we're doing them so that you can put your stocks that you want us to look into next week. You can put those in now. All right. So that covers all 8 of the stocks. Real quick. Oh, 200 million was the total number. That's correct.
Yeah, now they're down to about 170 after this last 10 million.
Right, because this is the second dilution that they put in. This is the second one. So, all right. Glenn's picks from last week. Let's go see what my picks were. I think that I was bullish on all of this. I don't think I was bearish on any of this. So let's go back to a week ago to the 17th. Go see what my picks look like. I just judged all of y'all on all your picks from last week. Let's go see what my picks look like.
It's probably not even going to be nearly as bad as mine.
Oh, my picks is bad from last week. Look at that. Woo. BM. This was that drug company.
Oh, yeah.
That drug company got kicked.
Just wait. You'll feel a lot better once you do mine. I don't even know what mine are, but I know it's not going to be good this week.
Well, but 2 stocks that I did pick. There it is. Warren Buffett. Did go up, and Zim did go up a lot. There it is. Energy says check the community tab. There it is. The poster's already been put up. Here's my picks new going into this week. I'm bearish on BBBY. I'm letting you know that ahead of time. I'm bearish on Netflix. I am positive on Occidental Petroleum. On this company, ENVX, I'm positive on going, and the dollar growing. I'm positive on that. Those are my picks going into this week. I'm not even looking at the graphs. I know we're running a little bit over, so I don't even look at the graphs. You saw the stories that I looked at on these stocks, right? So I am bearish on both Bed Bath & Beyond and Netflix, but I am going to be bullish on Occidental, on ENVX, and on the dollar, which I'm using UUP for. All right. Let's go look at Patrick's picks from last week. Ooh. He got GME, 3M.
So 3M, Target were shorts.
Okay, 3M and Target were short?
Yep.
All right. Let's do a quick
test. At least I had those.
Let's do a quick test. Well, 3M and Target were, and so all of them.
My shorts paid off.
Holy
smokes. My longs definitely didn't.
Bed Bath & Beyond got killed.
Yep, I knew that was going to happen.
GME still as bad as well. Not as bad, but man, again.
Yeah, because right after I picked it, the news came out the next day about the filing to sell. I knew this was going to be a bad week.
Well, we didn't do so good over the week. It's all right. It happens. You know something, but we'll own it. We'll own it. Here's Patrick's picks for this week, and talk about them.
Yeah, so one of them, top VST stock. I like the potential breakout that it's having. We can take a look at that if you want, but
you have access. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that in a second. But then my other 2 are going, especially with the Jackson Hole meetings going on right now. That ends up, Powell talks on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, so 2 days away. Looking at SDS and looking at UVXY. I like the volatility play. Volatility has been cooling off in this market rally that we've seen, but I don't expect that to last very much longer. And then SDS, I like it because if you look at the markets, they weren't, as Glenn showed just a little bit ago, it's a double leverage with the S&P 500. And they weren't able to hold that major level of support resistance. They also were trading below that 20 EMA that you used, Glenn?
Yes.
They were below that. So I'm taking a more bearish standpoint, not fully bearish and going with the triple leverage. So I'm going with the double leverage on the S&P 500. But if we graph these real fast.
Roger says, can you quick test them for next week? Hold on. Let me play that. Hold on. Go ahead, man. I just had to see it. I had to see it.
You had a level of resistance right around 110. I'll just put it on a 3-month. You have a level of resistance at 110 or 110. You had the breakout yesterday. Pull them back here today, but it's coming close. I'd like to see it retest that 110, bounce off of it, find a new entry closer to that 110 level. But I like the breakout out of this consolidation. So yeah, going forward in a week from now, could see some more upside with that one. SDS, this is that level. I'll just use the horizontal cursor, make it easier. So you had this level of resistance on the S&P 500, which would equate to roughly this level right here, or actually right here, where you had support right here, came down, kissed that point, and then bounced off of that and started to move higher. So I like this play as a protection or a defensive play. Not going fully bearish once again with the triple leverage, but giving you some exposure and giving you some additional leverage with the 2 times. And then last but not least, UVXY. UVXY has filled that gap. 3 and the 8 are still positive. I want to see it bounce off of this fill price, start to move higher. But, looking at 950, anywhere in this range, I'm really liking these prices, especially going into the meetings that we have at the end of the week or the announcements that we'll have from the Fed speaking. So I like these lower prices, maybe, add a smaller position, then slowly build up if it pulls back a little bit more, cost average a little bit at these levels. But I just don't see any reasoning or any possibility for this market to start blasting off, start making new highs again. Unless somebody can give me a real solid reason. I'm starting to look a little bit more bearish now that we've hit that MTI of 1.68. We talked about last week potentially entering into a bearish market, so loading or starting to gain some exposure to the downside.
I'm with you on that. All right, we're done. We covered a lot of stocks. We looked at your stocks. We did a lot of stuff. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit the like button.
Do it for Energy's birthday.
That's right. It's Energy's birthday. Happy birthday again, brother. Glenn, why you sold SQQQ this morning? I sold out of all the contras this morning because the market was moving up, and I wanted to make sure we locked in the profits on the contras that we had already had. I didn't want to give it all back. If the market wants to start going back down again, we'll get back in. But on a good day, especially when we're using triple leverage contra ETFs, we can give back the money quickly. I wanted to lock in some profit on that portfolio. And again, I'm with Patrick. I think we have a lot more downside. I still think that we will artificially be lifted until the midterm elections. Patrick, do you agree with that?
I was thinking that, but based on what the charts are showing, I don't know if we're going to make it to that point. We may see a little bit of lift from where we're currently at, for short term, maybe a month, maybe 2 months max. But I mean, I find it really hard to justify 2 months of the market continuing to move higher from this point.
I agree with you, but I think it's going to be market sentiment.
Are we going to get the invisible hand?
Yep. At least until that time. And then Katie bar the door after that. All right. With that, folks, we're getting ready to sign off. Hey, you sign off this week or is it me?
I don't know.
I'll let you sign off this week.
All right, I'll sign off this week. All right, well, thank you everybody for tuning in this week. Don't forget, as always, if you want to see more of us, come hang out at 11 a.m. Eastern on both YouTube and on Facebook for our mobile coaching streams that we have that I do myself. And then also at 2 p.m. we have Glenn bringing you what's hot, what's not with this Trending Thursdays. So if you want to see more, come hang out with us and support the streams. And with that, be safe out there. Let the market be your guide. Be trend followers. Don't try to predict what the market's going to do. Predictions never tend to work out. So on that note, thank you all once again for hanging out with us. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, toodles.
See ya.